Throughout our lives, we all face moments that make us want to shrink away, to disappear into thin air. These aren't just small blips in our existence. They leave lasting imprints on how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. But what if I told you that the ancient Stoics, some of the wisest philosophers of all time, discovered powerful secrets that can transform these embarrassing moments from something that holds us back into something that empowers us? Today, we're diving deep into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, uncovering how we can turn those cringe-worthy moments into our greatest sources of strength. It's not about avoiding embarrassment, it's about rewriting the very script of our lives. Imagine living boldly, authentically, and resiliently no matter what comes your way. If you've ever felt held back by the fear of others' judgments, stick with me. This journey could very well change the way you approach every tomorrow. And if you know someone who wrestles with the weight of embarrassment or could use a fresh perspective on living authentically, share this with them. If you value what we're doing here, a simple way to show support is by subscribing. Don't forget to watch every segment, as each part builds on the last, guiding you toward a more fearless, fulfilling life. Let's begin. It's fascinating when you think about it. Nobody is born feeling embarrassed. Newborns don't blush, hide their faces, or feel self-conscious. These responses are learned, gradually shaped as we grow. Society begins to wrap layers around us, unwritten rules about what is acceptable and what is not, creating a mental blueprint of do's and don'ts. But where do these rules come from? In many ways, these standards are simply cultural norms and personal biases passed down through generations, like old, dusty books whose origins we've long forgotten. Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective. The Stoics teach us that external things, societal judgments, cultural norms, aren't inherently good or bad. They're simply human perceptions, which can be flawed, inconsistent, and changeable. Stoicism encourages us to separate our internal reactions from external events. Our feelings of embarrassment, for example, are not dictated by the event itself, but by our interpretation of it. Think about the last time you felt embarrassed. Was it because you did something truly against your nature, or was it because you feared judgment based on society's expectations? The Stoics challenge us to question whether those external standards are worth carrying. Is it really worth feeling embarrassed if it's based on arbitrary rules that don't reflect your true self? By peeling back the layers, we can see embarrassment for what it often is, an unnecessary burden that we choose to carry simply because we've been taught to prioritize others' opinions over our own virtues. For the Stoics, authenticity isn't about acting impulsively or without thought. It's about aligning your actions with reason and virtue. It's about being true to your core self, the person you are when stripped of the influence of external expectations and societal pressures. Imagine for a moment that you could shed all the shoulds and musts you've accumulated over the years. What would be left? You'd find your core principles, your true self, the one that isn't swayed by the opinions of the crowd. This is the essence of Stoic authenticity, discovering and adhering to your rational, virtuous self. Now, how do we apply this in the everyday situations where embarrassment tends to strike? Picture yourself at a gathering, maybe laughing louder than others at a joke or sharing an unpopular opinion. The Stoic response is not to shrink away in shame, but to stand confidently in your truth. If your actions are not harming anyone and are guided by your true beliefs, there is no reason to feel embarrassed. This aligns perfectly with Stoic philosophy, which teaches that the only things worth valuing are those that depend entirely on us, our virtues, judgments, and actions. The approval of others? It's not a valid measure of our worth. Instead, our worth is found in how closely our actions align with our own moral compass. The Stoics recognize that forgiveness is not just a moral duty to others, it's also a crucial part of personal growth. Forgiving others is important, yes, but forgiving ourselves is just as vital. How many times have you replayed an embarrassing moment in your mind, feeling the sting of shame as though it had just happened? The Stoics remind us that mistakes are an inevitable part of being human. What matters is not the mistake itself, but what we learn from it and how we choose to move forward. Forgiving ourselves creates the space for growth. Without it, we can't evolve. If we continue to cling to the weight of past mistakes, we block our own potential. Stoicism teaches us to accept our imperfections, to learn from them, and to release the hold they have on us. In the end, embracing Stoic wisdom means rewriting the narrative of our lives. Instead of letting embarrassment or societal judgment dictate our actions, we can choose to live authentically, in line with our core values. With this shift, we become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of living boldly in a world that often tries to make us shrink. Dwelling on past embarrassments ties us to a moment that's already passed, a moment we can't change. Yet, as the Stoics remind us, the past is beyond our control. What we have is the present, the moment where real transformation can occur. By embracing self-forgiveness, we release the weight of regret that drains our energy and instead redirect that energy toward positive growth. This isn't just about letting go of guilt. It's about using that energy to propel ourselves forward in the pursuit of becoming better versions of ourselves. The practice of self-forgiveness also invites a rational reflection on our actions, a key Stoic principle. It calls us to assess our decisions through the lens of reason. Were our actions within our control? Were they in alignment with our values? When they weren't, acknowledging those misalignments allows us to chart a course for better choices in the future. This process is the very definition of growth, recognizing our flaws and actively striving to rise above them. More than just accepting personal shortcomings, Stoicism teaches us that each new day is an opportunity to practice virtues like courage, wisdom, and moderation. Every misstep or embarrassing moment provides a chance to test our commitment to these ideals. It's a moment to practice resilience, to rise again with a clearer understanding of who we are, and with a renewed focus on who we want to become. In embracing self-forgiveness and growth, we also begin to extend that understanding to others. We recognize that everyone is on their own journey, making their own mistakes and learning their own lessons. This realization fosters compassion and kinship, enriching both our lives and the lives of those around us. We see that embarrassment is a shared human experience, and that the challenges we face can bring us closer to one another if we approach them with kindness and understanding. Stoicism further empowers us to embrace change and challenge as essential allies in life's journey. The Stoics viewed every obstacle, every moment of discomfort, as a vital part of forging our character and honing our virtues. When embarrassment arises, it often happens at times of change or when we step outside of our comfort zones, when we risk exposure and vulnerability in the eyes of others. But what if we chose to see these moments not as threats, but as opportunities? Instead of shrinking from embarrassment, we can lean into it, viewing it with curiosity and readiness to learn. This is at the heart of Stoic thought, seeing every challenge, no matter how uncomfortable, as an opportunity to practice courage, temperance, and wisdom. Stoicism teaches us to anticipate difficulties before they occur through the practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. By mentally preparing ourselves for the challenges we may face, we reduce the shock when they inevitably arrive. Imagine the freedom that comes with this preparation. When you've already confronted your fears in your mind, real-life challenges become less daunting. You are mentally equipped to handle them with calm, grace, and integrity. With this mental rehearsal, you're ready to face embarrassment not with avoidance, but with composure and confidence. Moreover, embracing challenges helps break the patterns of behavior that keep us stagnant. Instead of allowing embarrassment to send us into self-doubt or withdrawal, we can ask, what can I learn from this? Every moment of discomfort holds valuable lessons about our values, our fears, and our limits, insights that can help shape a stronger, more resilient self. This approach doesn't merely reduce the sting of embarrassment, it transforms it into a stepping stone on the path to personal growth. Every challenge we face, every embarrassing moment we navigate successfully, builds our confidence and reinforces our trust in our ability to handle whatever life throws our way. Owning your story is the ultimate act of empowerment. When we truly embrace our past, our mistakes, errors, and embarrassing moments, we free ourselves from the chains of regret and fear. We stop living in the shadow of past failures or future judgment and begin to live fully in the present. Stoicism teaches us that our true power lies not in controlling external events, but in controlling our reactions and perceptions of them. By owning our story, we take back control over the narrative of our lives. This isn't about rewriting history or pretending that past mistakes didn't happen. It's about acknowledging their role in shaping the person we are today and recognizing how they contributed to our values, strengths, and character. When confronted with past mistakes, we don't shy away. We accept them openly and use them as tools for growth, showing how they helped us develop virtues like resilience, wisdom, and compassion. Owning your story also means accepting every part of who you are, imperfections included. It's about embracing the fullness of your humanity, and in doing so, living authentically. Stoicism doesn't just accept imperfections, it values them as essential to the human experience. When we accept who we truly are, we unlock the power to live in a way that aligns with our deepest values, and we inspire others to do the same. This acceptance encourages an environment where openness, authenticity, and vulnerability are valued over superficial perfection. It creates a space where people can freely express themselves without fear of judgment or embarrassment. When we own our stories with pride, we lead by example, showing others that it's not our mistakes that define us, but how we rise above them. So let's continue to own our stories with pride, accepting both the light and the shadow they contain. In doing so, we not only create a path for our own growth, but we also cultivate a culture where others feel safe to do the same. True confidence is about embracing all parts of our past, even the embarrassing moments, and recognizing their place in the bigger story of our lives. Every experience, every misstep, has a purpose in shaping who we are today. When we take ownership of our entire journey, we embody the Stoic ideal, not living at the mercy of external events or others' opinions, but becoming the architects of our own inner peace and self-respect. One of the most powerful aspects of Stoic philosophy is the idea of breaking free from the invisible mental prisons we often build for ourselves. These prisons are constructed from fear, self-doubt, and most commonly the judgments of others. Stoicism teaches us that true freedom doesn't come from external circumstances, it comes from mastering our inner world. The chains that hold us back are only the ones we create in our own minds. These mental prisons are often made of bricks built from the opinions of others and societal expectations. We may fear rejection, judgment, or criticism, as if these things could define us. But the Stoics remind us that these fears are illusions. They're not based on reality, but on perceptions we allow to control us. Marcus Aurelius, a prominent Stoic philosopher, famously wrote that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality, and this rings especially true when it comes to feelings of embarrassment or shame. When we're trapped in these mental prisons, we restrict ourselves in countless ways. We avoid risks, shy away from speaking our truths, and prevent ourselves from fully being who we are because we fear how others will perceive us. But the Stoics challenge us to see these fears for what they truly are, mere opinions, not facts. Epictetus, another influential Stoic, said, "It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgment of them." By changing our judgment, we can change our experience. Breaking free from these mental prisons requires a shift in perspective. It's about realizing that we have the power to choose our responses to life's situations. Instead of fearing embarrassment, we can see it as an opportunity to grow. Instead of worrying about what others think, we can focus on living in alignment with our own values. This is the essence of Stoic freedom, living life on our own terms, guided by our inner compass, rather than being swayed by the ever-changing winds of external approval. Stoicism also teaches us to embrace the impermanence of life. Nothing external, our possessions, our reputation, or even our relationships, lasts forever. When we tie our happiness to these temporary things, we imprison ourselves. But when we recognize that true peace comes from within, we begin dismantling these walls. We understand that no matter what happens outside of us, we can maintain our tranquility and integrity. Breaking free from mental prisons isn't a one-time event, it's an ongoing practice. It requires constant self-reflection and a commitment to authenticity. But each time we choose to act from a place of inner strength, rather than fear, we chip away at those walls. With each brick that falls away, we move closer to a life of true freedom and fulfillment, one that Stoicism promises. In the end, Stoicism offers us the ultimate freedom, the freedom to live life on our terms. It gives us the tools to detach from external pressures and focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions. This autonomy is liberating. When we live life according to Stoic principles, we are not tossed around by every gust of criticism or praise. Instead, we remain rooted in our own values, standing firm in our integrity. Living life on your terms means recognizing that your worth isn't determined by what others think of you, but by your own integrity and ability to stay true to your principles. It's about pursuing what genuinely matters to you, whether or not it aligns with societal expectations. It's about embracing your unique quirks, expressing unpopular opinions, and following paths less traveled. All the things that make you you. Stoicism teaches us that life's beauty and challenges are two sides of the same coin. Embracing this duality helps us appreciate the highs and navigate the lows with equanimity. Each challenge, each moment of embarrassment, is not a roadblock, but an opportunity to practice virtues like courage, resilience, and temperance. When we see life this way, it becomes a series of moments to be shaped, not just endured. Remember, living life on your terms is a continuous journey. It requires daily practice, reflection, and the willingness to adapt. It's not about reaching perfection, but striving for personal excellence and peace of mind. Every decision should reflect your deepest beliefs and aspirations. Ultimately, you are the author of your own story. You have the power to redefine how you relate to embarrassment and turn it into a source of strength. By applying Stoic wisdom, you can move through life with confidence and grace, making choices that resonate with your true self. So go ahead, write your life boldly and authentically, and let every chapter reflect the courage and wisdom that defines you.